Hello, welcome to Dimming the Light, featuring Chris Davis. I'm at the beach. I thought we'd try and get the sunset as per. There's some voices in the background, some kids jumping in water and stuff. No, it's not really my thing, kids in general, but they deserve it. So they should be on a beautiful night like this. So if they're in the background, sorry about that. I'll see how it goes. I'll look into it, see if I do another one. Anyway, so a wee half an hour of, talking about general depression, and just talking about things that have happened to me this week. And the last episode was nice. I talked about how I couldn't really kind of get out of my bed for about a week. And a lot of people reached out. They said they kind of sympathised and empathised with the scenario, and it wasn't like a kind of feel sorry for myself type thing, which I thought was actually really refreshing. It was kind of just people saying, I also experienced that. Thank you for sharing that experience, because it means that I don't feel as if I'm the only one that does it. And I thought that was quite nice. I was like, cool. Other people experienced it, and it's nice that their friends experiencing it too. I don't think I've really felt too down this week. I've kind of been really busy. I've been really busy writing. I've been really busy doing stuff. And I think it's when you stop that's when it really sets in. Oh yeah, I don't know if you're getting that. I'm getting it on both sides, man. Just wains. Just pure wains. But what can you do, man? It's just I'm having fun. I grew up in Cumbernauld, man. I wasn't able to be like 15 years old with a bottle of Mad Dog, which they have, essentially. A bottle of Mad Dog and a bottle of Fanta. And they're just flapping about in the water with a big rubber ring. It's amazing. Quite right. Just don't fucking interfere with my podcast anymore. I'm going to come down there and drown you. What? No, that's right, laugh. So I don't think I've really been so down. I've been too busy to be down. But there was one day, it would have been last Saturday, where I think I drank too much the night before. And I kind of just... I didn't really have a hangover per se, but I kind of just lay about doing nothing. And laying about doing nothing really isn't the best, I think I said this last time. It's just when you're lying there not doing anything, that you should get up and do something because it will make you feel better. But nevertheless, you just lie there doing nothing, which makes you feel worse. It's like a kind of self-destructive cycle mechanism that you just tune into. I've been trying to eat a little bit better. Basically this week came up to a wee house that I kind of, it's like a little timeshare thing. It's next to a lake, a little wooden hut thing. It's got a kitchen, bathroom, running water, electricity, that kind of thing. And at the bottom of the garden there's a little pier, and there's a whole lake at the bottom of the pier. It's amazing, man. You just jump in, do your thing. It's fantastic. So that's helped. That really has helped. Next door to the wee place is a wee old man, 70 maybe. This guy can talk. This guy can talk, but he kind of talks at you, like I've got a lot of time for people that talk. My grandpa always talked, and everyone got dead bored. But I loved just listening to my grandpa. He just talk. But the thing with my grandpa is he actually asked you questions back. Whether I listened or not was a different story, but he asked you a question back. Whereas this guy kind of just talks at you, so you have to kind of like intervene every now and then. And I think it's the things that he talks about that was starting to like kind of drag me down a bit. He's talking about death. So, first of all, he's talking about his current girlfriend. Her ex-husband died at the age of 53 of a heart attack in a sauna. I don't know why he's fucking telling me this, man, you know? I don't want to know about, like, I'm happy if you want to talk to me about your relationship. I don't want to talk about too many degrees of separation away from you know what I mean? Stop telling me about your ex's ex. I don't want to know about your friends' issues. If you want to tell me about your issues, absolutely, that I can help with, because I know you. But I can't help with anything else, you know what I mean? And then he told me this incredible story about... I'll cut a long story short, because I'm already 5 minutes in, but he essentially talks about how in the early 80s he met his ex-wife, who was a bit of a druggie. I think pretty much all Berliners were pure mad into their drugs, like mid-80s, late 80s, particularly the early 90s when the wall came down, right? Like, wall came down in 89, and then there was this whole big influx of, like, East and West, and it was just massive. And he was married to her until 97, and they broke up, and then she was in therapy, she was getting help for her drug abuse and all that kind of stuff. She was like a proper druggie, right? Pure big into speed and coke and amphetamines and all that. And they were still in contact, but in 97, after coming out of therapy, she went, I'm going to go down to Egypt. Just going down to Mo, I'm going to go for a big holiday. And she never came back. And no one really said anything. Like, no one really, like, questioned why she wasn't back, because of her like, drug behaviour. So, and at this point, him and this guy, my next door neighbour, they were finished, they were broke up, but they were kind of still in contact. And he asked around, hey, has anyone seen, I forget her name, but has anyone seen, you know, let's call her Helga, for the sake of the story, because everyone loves a Helga in a German story. So she goes missing, he asks around, no one really knows, no one really cares, because she's kind of like, what do you call it, not disarranged from her family. She's kind of, she's fell away from her family have disowned her, so have all her friends, from time to time. So this isn't an abnormal thing that she disappears. Anyway, right? So this guy, 5 years later, 2002, my fucking neighbour, Harry, lovely guy, he just talks a lot. He's sitting in his living room watching a documentary, right, about this mad terror attack that happened in 1997 by Al-Qaeda. You can look it up in the news. Happened on, he was telling me the date, the 24th of November 97. There was like a kind of mass shooting of about 50 people. Most of them were from Switzerland, and there was 4 Germans. You know where I'm going with this. He's sitting in his living room, he's eating his dinner, and he looks up for a split second and sees his ex-wife on a stretcher being taken out in an ambulance. Now, this documentary was 45 minutes long, and this was a 3.5 second clip. And he noticed it, and his eyes were glued to the TV for the rest of the documentary to see if he could see her again. And he was so convinced that this was her, that he was calling up the TV channel, he was asking for access to the documentary. What documentary was it? We're talking 2002, man. I mean, I said to him, I was like, dude, was it really that difficult, man? We had like TV guides back then. Could you not just say Channel 4, Tuesday the 14th, fucking 2 o'clock? But whatever, he said it was too difficult. Anyway, long story short, it was in fact his ex-wife. Can you believe that? So once he knew for sure, he contacted all the family and friends, blah, blah, blah. Dogs barking, more kids coming. You know how it is. Mental, eh? So it got me thinking about death. I nearly went down a fucking wormhole of like death. And I kind of like was thinking about it the past couple of days. I realised I truly am not scared of death. It's not something that troubles me. It's not something that keeps me awake at night. Maybe it's because I'm 35 and it's, you know, in quotation marks, so far away. It's not anything that really troubles me, man. What troubles me is dying. I'm way more concerned about that. But what concerns me the most is getting old. Like, that is seeping into the back of my head quite a lot, you know? Getting old, man. I don't want to be old. I don't want to be Harry. Just talking at people for hours. Literally hours, by the way, guys. I'm not saying just to be 5-10 minutes here, and then I'm like, alright, it's like a pure hour before I can get like a word in to go, alright, I'm just going to go back up to the house and, get my dinner. So, I don't know, man. I don't want to get old. I'm kind of worried about that. It's not like I'm putting anything away in a pension fund. You know? I don't have like a real job. I can't believe I just said those words. I don't have a kind of stable routine job that's putting like money into a, pension fund each month. Well, Chris, why don't you just do it yourself, put the money? Aye, okay, very good. It's not something you really think about at 35, is like setting up a pension for yourself, you know what I mean? Private pension. But you know what, man? I cycled past an old folks home today as well, man. And everyone just looked done. And there's this kind of thing, right? Like, my parents' generation, they're kind of sorted in a way, man, like, they've kind of got that money from somewhere, haven't they? Like, someone dies and they get some inheritance from it. It could be a distant uncle or a distant auntie that they've never even met, or a cousin randomly dies and they get like a couple of grand or whatever. That's kind of like a common thing, and like for like older generations. But my generation, 35, I've got nothing like that coming, so I can't put anything away. And I don't think I'm going to be able to afford a nursing home. And I've had this idea for a while that I wonder, if there's so many people in the same situation, when they're that old, we're just all going to be rocking out in a huge nursing home, and we're all going to have like our talents. It's going to be like a 70, he's going to be like 85-year-old DJ in there. I'm going to be doing my comedy routine, the same routine every single night for the same people. But man, it's not really going to be like that. That's just a kind of romantic idea of it, isn't it? That's like when you're 35 and you're kind of like joking and you go, yeah, we're all going to be in a big house together and we're just all going to look after each other. Man, I don't know. I've heard some horror stories, man. Are we really going to be wiping each other's asses and that? No, not really. We're going to be cooking for each other? No. Entertaining each other? No. Pure boozing like we do now? No. We're just going to be in a house melting our brains out. So that kind of worried me. Won't lie. Getting old. I thought about something else though this week. School. Thought about... It's a weird one, man. Okay, the lakes went dead quiet now. And the wee mad dog crew, they're pure looking at me as if I'm mental. I don't even know if they're in the frame, because you're not actually legally supposed to fucking film people, but whatever. But these microphones are so awesome. I'm just going to lower my voice so that I don't look like the biggest creep. Because you can't even see these microphones are so small. I'm just talking out of my hand, basically. Anyway. So. I was thinking about school. And how I was a wee bit shite at it. But I really tried. I really tried, man. And it kind of used to freak me out when I used to see like people getting like awards. Like, you remember you used to have these assembly halls, right? Big assembly meetings, and you'd be given like awards. And someone would get like a gold merit like achievement for good effort, like a gold merit achievement effort, gold star certificate. And you'd be like, oh, right, okay. I studied just as hard as him, man. I might have not got the same grade, but I remember being in a study group for the exact same amount of hours as him. And he's sitting up there getting his gold merit, gold achievement. And then my name gets called. Chris Davis, award for attendance. Wow, okay, fantastic. Attendance, isn't that like a pure, isn't that a bit patronising? Isn't that like pure? Chris, well done for waking up and getting out of bed. Well done for closing your door behind you and getting to the school parameter. Chris, go you for being here. Well, thanks. That's just bloody great, isn't it? Now you actually have to go up to the stage and collect the fucking thing. What, you know, how's that going to benefit me in life? What job interview am I going to be in that I'm going to be able to use that? So, Chris, what are your strongest assets? Mate, I'm really good at turning up. Turning up trousers. Just turning up, mate. I'm just really good at turning up. See, I don't know, man. At school, it was kind of a wee bit difficult for me. I know, I just always... I tried to study as... you see, the thing is, I think I tried to study as hard as I could, right? But at school, no one tells you how to study. They just tell you to study. And I don't think I can be alone in thinking that. I really don't. I mean, they just say, here's a textbook. Some of the questions that are going to be asked, the answers that are in that textbook. So go for it. No one really sits down and like, it was only like later on in life. Like, I honestly, man, I don't think I learned anything at school. It was later on in life that I learned like how to actually sit down and properly research. So you've got a textbook, you read a chapter, ask yourself, did you understand it? If you don't, read it again, and then try kind of write down the bullet points, the most important bullet points of that chapter, and then kind of recite those bullet points to yourself without looking at the book. That's the way to study, man. Then you know that you understand it, and then you know that you've learned it. Then when someone asks you a fucking question about it in an exam, you can answer it. But no one told me that at school. No one told me. But Chris, everyone knows that. You should have known. Well, I never. I loved it when I put my hand up in class and asked like a stupid question, because I absolutely knew that there was at least 2 or 3 other people in that class that were too shy to ask it or didn't want to come across as a dumbass, so they just didn't. But when it was answered, when the teacher answered my question, they were like, whew, thank fuck for that, and had like the right answer. I don't think I learned much at school. There's a few things that I took away from school, man. Oxbow Lake. I can tell you exactly how an Oxbow Lake is formed. I can kind of tell you how a waterfall is formed. I mean, I obviously learned like basic maths. Did I say basic maths there? I did. I mean, I know I learned like basic maths. I know I learned like how to spell and how to write. I can write pretty well grammatically, I think. But beyond that, I can maybe show you how to do like a kind of wooden joint to join 2 bits of wood together from woodwork class. I remember in geography was quite a lovely, that was probably one of my favourite subjects, don't know why. But I had this guy this teacher called Mr. Wright, and he taught me in third and fourth year. This is going to be difficult for people of different nationalities to understand the years, but I'm just going to put it in age-wise, right? When 13, 14, you have to do geography compulsory, right? And then after that, so I had this guy, Mr. Wright, for those years. And I thought he was a great teacher. I didn't necessarily like him as a person. Like, I didn't really feel so much like empathy for him or anything. I don't know why. He was just like a really good teacher. I could just understand the way he taught. So because of that, and because of that alone, that made me enjoy the subject of geography. So when you're allowed to choose your subjects for further education in school, i.e. when you're like 15 years old, I chose geography because I knew he was going to be the teacher. So it's all based on grades, but I got into this level of intermediate 2. To put it very simply, there's basically 3 levels. There's intermediate 1, you're a bit of a slow guy. Intermediate 2, medium, and higher level. You're in a good place with higher level. That's where you want to be, right? When you apply to university, for example, it's the higher degrees, it's the higher subjects that they look at, right? They want to see how many subjects you have at a higher level and what those grades are. That'll get you into uni. If you've got like 3 highers, you're going to get in pretty much anywhere. But if you're rocking an intermediate 2 like the Davis, yeah, you're going to struggle. So I done intermediate 2 level geography, passed it, got an A, boom. And that got me into like the next year at school. So 16 years old, I get to do higher levels because I got an A at intermediate 2. I can do higher, right? 2 weeks into that course, Mr. Wright just didn't turn up to class. And I was like, okie dokie. And this guy came in, man. This substitute teacher who was like he was more of a rugby player. He always talked about rugby. I think he was like a professional rugby coach. And I think he done like a geography course at college 15 years previous and used that to kind of jump in as a substitute teacher to make a bit extra money on the side. Seriously, like this guy was a teacher second and a rugby coach first. But he took the tactics of sport and rugby into a geography classroom, and I just couldn't get it, man. And he kept on saying this stuff. He kept on going, it's easy. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not getting this. It's easy. And he took a liking to like the bigger guys in the class because they could be like rugby players. I was like, mate, fuck. I remember him one time turning around to me and going, oh, you could have been the rugby team. The flagpole's bigger than you. I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, fucking coming in here and fucking teaching sports. A fucking geography thing, man. And rugby, of all people. Fuck off with your rugby. I was like, it's Cumbernauld, man. Fucking rugby. Oh, fucking rugby, you man. Pure toff shit. Pure. Betty voted Tory, by the way. No one plays rugby in Cumbernauld. No one played rugby in the late 90s in Cumbernauld anyway, that's for sure. I never saw anyone with a rugby ball. Nobody. It was football or nothing. And I don't really mean that as a kind of macho thing. I just genuinely mean that as a cultural thing. It's a pure regional thing. Cumbernaud's poor as shit. But it's bloody awesome. It's great crack. Most poor areas are. Pure, proper, great crack. And this guy comes into Cumbernauld school trying to recruit rugby players. Know your crowd, dude. And I couldn't pass. And I swear to God, I'd done my higher. And I failed it miserably. I failed it miserably because of the teacher. And I know that's kind of blaming your tools. I understand that. I get it. But I'm sure I'm not the only one. who's been in a classroom and has shown promise from a particular teacher, and that teacher changes, and you just die on it, man. Do you know what I got? I failed so miserably at higher geography that I acquired during and doing my higher level geography, I required an intermediate to A. The exact same result that I got the previous year. I am the noble proprietor of 2 intermediate to A certificates in geography. I wanted to be an urban planner, man. Rocking up to an interview with that. Okay, Mr. Davis, so we understand that your assets are, being here at the interview. Damn right, man. Is there any other awards or certificates that you have? Absolutely none, mate. But I tell you what, I was at every single award ceremony. No question about it. So why is it that you want to be an urban developer there, Chris? What's your qualifications? Well, mate, I have got an intermediate 2 level A. I won't lie to you, Chris. I love your enthusiasm there, but it's a little under the requirements that we're looking for there, Chris. Well, what do you think about 2 intermediate 2 A's? Double whammy, double fisting that. Come on, man, get me on board. I can take the urban development so far. Now you get someone else on board. Come on, man, we can double team this. It's great. It's all about the double team. That was a weird one at school. Very strange. I had to walk to school as well. I mean, no wonder I got an award for good attendance. What, I had to walk half an hour to and from. Half an hour there, half an hour back. That's nuts. Most people at my school got buses. There's me in the winter, like a fucking tundra wind, hitting against my forehead. See, the only way I got to school... Go to school was like climbing Mount Everest, man. You knew you were so close by the amount of dead bodies there were that December. Cracked myself up with that one there, sorry. The walk to school was horrendous, man. And I would sometimes get a walking buddy. My walkie buddy was Brian McLeod. I'd walk from my gaff to the end of the Snaky Bridge where he lived. It took me 10 minutes to get from my house to his place. And the cunt would always be late. Let me break down the time for you just before I leave you. School starts at 9. I'll leave the house at 8:30. Takes me half an hour to get there, 8:30. Takes me 10 minutes to get to McLeod's. Pick him up at 20 to 8. We walk and we can get there for about 5 to 9 with a quick pit stop at the shop to get a packet of crisps and his fags. I didn't smoke at school. Perfect. Like clockwork every time, man. Like a well-oiled machine. 3-4 minutes to spare. Alright lads, how yous doing? Up to the edge of class, start your day. When he was late, man, I leave the house at 8:30. Get to McLeod Point at 8:40. Did I say 8:20 before? I meant 8:40. I leave my house at 8:30, get to his place at 8:40. He leaves me waiting until 10 to 9. And then I have to go. He's not even turned up, man. He's not even turned up. I have to go. I'm like, because 10 to 9, he's not coming out of school today, man. He's sick or whatever. Because, it's like the year 2000 or something, man. 99. We don't have smartphones, we don't have internet. Sure as hell ain't wasting any credit on that bastard, man. Wasting 10p on a text. So there's the run. Have you ever ran in tundra wind? It's almost like your lungs freeze inside you. And in Reggie class, you're just thawing out. No time for the stop off at the shop for the crisps, nothing. Anyway, guys, it's now 30 minutes. It's been nice. That sun went down pretty quickly. I wonder if you noticed. I hope it wasn't too loud. I'm going to listen to it back. If it was, apologise. I might just keep it anyway because I'm a lazy bastard. Stay safe out there, guys. It's your head can be a big old place. It can also be the smallest, most tunnel vision place in the world you'll ever see. Just remember, it's just a wee melon-sized head. It weighs about 4 kilos. And we're kind of on the same boat. So, enjoy yourselves. Keep it real, and I'll talk to you again.